Joining me right now is Joint Economic Banking and Commerce Committee member, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. Senator, thanks very much for being here this morning. What is your response and reaction to what's taken place with this nominee? Ted Cruz nails one area, but there are other areas to criticize. Your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I mean, this person's very radical, and I think there's a good chance, actually, that a number of Democrats will vote against her nomination. I certainly hope that they do. You know, Ted Cruz hit upon one of the critical points here, which is she is before the Senate waiting to get confirmation and yet donating to senators as that's happening, donating to Senate candidates as that's happening. That's a real conflict of interest and an unethical approach to this. We've been unable to find a single example of that happening even once. She also, Maria, has this bizarre level of racist rhetoric in some of her tweets. She called Donald Trump the leader of a raggedy band of white supremacists. She criticized Judge Kavanaugh, now Justice Kavanaugh, as an angry white man. I don't think that we should be appointing anybody who uses racial terms as pejoratives in this country. It seems to be taking us backwards. Yet there's a group of progressives who think it's okay so long as you're talking about the right racial group. And I think that's unacceptable. That's where I directed my questioning yesterday. We should not approve this nomination.
Well, this is just incredible that this is continuing. We keep hearing these kinds of stories of constant conversation of race and bringing it into the conversation when it has nothing to do with anything. You mentioned a number of areas there, but look, Senator, I've got to get your take on what's happening in Ohio right now. I know that you care deeply about the constituents who are very nervous over this derailment. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine is calling on Congress to look into the East Palestine train derailment that caused hazardous chemicals to spill all over the ground. Toxic smoke, plumes of that burned for days. Here's the governor. Watch this.
Even though some rail cars did have hazardous material on board, and while most of them did not, that's why it was not categorized as a high hazardous material train. Frankly, if this is true, and I'm told it's true, this is absurd.
So East Palestine is planning a town hall tonight. The residents are raising health concerns. Obviously, some of them say that they are actually experiencing symptoms. You've got Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, once again MIA. He's being slammed for waiting 10 days to address this disaster. Senator, what have you done, and what can you tell us in terms of what you're hearing from constituents about this?
Well, there's a few things, Maria. First of all, Governor DeWine is exactly right. This train was not labeled as high hazardous. We're looking into why that was. That's likely a screw up on the Department of Transportation side, and we're trying to investigate that as we speak. The second thing, the thing that we're most focused on right now, Maria, is the quality of the air and water, especially the water. We're encouraging everybody to get their ground wells tested. There are a lot of private wells in this area, and we want to make sure that the water is safe to drink. The EPA, we've been really hammering them on what the acceptable safety levels are for the drinking water in East Palestine. We've yet to get the answers that we want, and so we're continuing to follow up on that. And then there's the third element of this, Maria, is why did this happen in the first place? Why wasn't the train labeled as high hazardous? That means that a lot of people didn't know what was on the train in the first place. Why have we gotten into a position where we're having hundreds of train derailments every year in this country when we just spent $1 trillion on infrastructure? This stuff should be becoming less likely, not happening as frequently as it is. So there's a lot of issues here, but right now my main focus is the health and safety of the groundwater in East Palestine.
Yeah, no, of course, but you know, you make really important points. I mean, how much money did Ohio get in the transportation and the infrastructure bill? You know, we've been hearing about how great this is, and yet we're having a derailment where now people are afraid they're going to get sick because of what's in the air.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we've seen a number of really worrying reports of dead livestock, of dead fish in some of the streams. So this is something we really need to monitor. This could be an ecological disaster. We need to stay on top of it. That's exactly what our office is doing. I commend the governor there in Ohio for staying on top of it, too. But we've got some serious problems here. And, Maria, I've got to say, the Secretary of Transportation not talking about this issue, not talking about the frequency of train derailments in our country, talking about how we have too many white male construction workers instead of the fact that our trains are crashing at alarming rates. The guy needs to do his job.
Well, this is quite alarming. This has got to be the third time that Buttigieg is missing in action during something incredibly important for the American people. And yet, yeah, the criticisms are out there, but he's still walking around with that job. Meanwhile, no comment whatsoever about this extraordinary situation about the 3 unidentified objects shot down over the past weekend. We've got a new report that shows that the U.S. was tracking that first spy flight the moment it took off from a Chinese island. So why, then, did this Chinese spy flight fly through the country and snap pictures of our nuclear installations? I know the Senate received a classified briefing on those unidentified objects yesterday. Senator Vance, what can you tell us in terms of what these 3 objects are? Are they more surveillance balloons from China? And how worried should we be about this surveillance of America?
Well, we should be very worried about it. And the first thing this highlights is that we could have actually shot this balloon down over, over Alaska, over Canada, well before it reached the 48 lower United States, where, of course, we have a lot of sensitive nuclear bases, a lot of sensitive air bases. The thing that we learned yesterday is that we're actually very unsure what these objects actually are, what purpose they have, where they're coming from, or what they are. And that suggests to me that the Biden administration just needs to level with the American people. People are scared of this. They have every right to be worried about it. Biden needs to come out and say, this is what we know, this is what we don't know.
So, I mean, do you think they're from China?
Look, Maria, I don't know. We certainly know the first balloon was from China, and my suspicion is that a lot of this stuff is from China. But the honest answer, based on the classified briefing last night, we do not know where this stuff is coming from, and that's maybe the scariest point of all.
That's exactly right. It is the scariest point of all. Talk about being unprepared. Communist China is watching how unprepared we are. What kind of images did they get from the larger spy balloon?
Well, we know from the larger spy balloon, they probably got some pretty sensitive stuff. We don't know exactly what, but look, they were over the entire continental United States for a long time. They got a lot of good stuff, and that's on our leadership. It was a fault of the Biden administration to not shoot it down earlier. It also, of course, sent the signal that we're not strong enough on China. That's been the whole story of the Biden administration.
Wow, what an incredible, disturbing situation. Senator, thank you. We'll be watching your leadership. J.D. Vance joining us this morning in D.C. Thank you, sir.